Alrighty, so with the Jumping Box Part 1, I got a comment yesterday asking who should I be giving those HP defense sets to. If you don't know, on I think it's 8 and 9, yeah, it looks like 8 and 9. If you complete this section and you get the bonus reward from it, you actually get a full maxed out set of Substat HP defense gear. You will have to roll the base stat like to get it where you want it to be because it is random, but the actual HP defense set itself has maxed out substats, which is kind of what you're looking for. The substats are kind of the hardest part of actually maxing out a set. So currently I have mine on Shin and Monspeed just because I don't have HP defense sets for those characters and I needed it for Guild Wars. But if you look at the set itself, all of it is maxed out 15% basic substats, yeah. So it's attack on the top pieces, defense on the middle pieces, HP on the bottom pieces. Like I said, you will have to re-roll the base stat, but I've already done that on both of my sets, and it wasn't too difficult. Obviously, it'll just take a couple of anvils, but it is what it is. These sets are extremely, extremely nice to have, so try not to waste it on somebody that you probably won't get as much use out of. I would highly recommend you use it on characters that you know that you're going to use a lot, because if we look at the shop section real quick and you scroll all the way down, the equivalent to this set, which I think this one does have a maxed out base stat as well, but it is $80 for the US price, which is a bit ridiculous, although, you know, it does come with the engraving stones and awakening stones to, you know, engrave it into UR, but this set is expensive, you know, if they're selling it by like this, but obviously they're giving 2 sets out for free, so try to take advantage of that while you can. I'm not sure if the Jumping Box Part 2 event has any more of them. I would imagine not, considering that they're so good, but I would highly recommend you really take some time, look at who you want to build it for. I would probably recommend, first of all, Percival is coming out next week. We don't have a Percival character in the game just yet, but Meliodas is the main character of the 7 Deadly Sins storyline. We're moving into the 4 Knights of the Apocalypse, which is the sequel series to 7 Deadly Sins, and Percival becomes the new main character, which means that I would highly recommend you give a set to Percival if you're summoning for him. Obviously, you can't build a gear set and engrave it for a character you don't have, but you should be able to, you know, if you're planning on pulling for Percival, make that gear set for him, at least one of them, because there is no doubt in my mind that we're going to get more Percivals in the future, which means you'll probably be able to get that HP defense set a little bit more use going forward. The new Percival is like a bit of a tank, and you can even use him in the back line, which is kind of nice, so I don't really think that you're going to be trying to get damage out of him, which means that HP defense is more than likely going to be the preferred set for him anyway, so building it for him is probably pretty future-proofed. I would highly recommend that. Other than that, if you're not planning on summoning for him, for example, or you just want to build it for other characters, any of the sins are a really good bet, just because a lot of the sins can actually be used for a lot of different things. If you're going for CC in PvP, HP defense is the go-to for a lot of characters, so, you know, obviously with the new Escanor being the newest character and everything like that, and he's very CC based, you really want to go first with this character. You could 100% just build an HP defense set, or use one of those HP defense sets for the new Escanor. I would not blame you if you don't have an HP defense set already for him. Other than that, Melee is another one that a lot of people are using recently in PvP. I don't know if you guys summoned for UR Gother or not. Probably some of you didn't, but I do see a lot of UR Gothers, so Gother is a character that gets a lot of use, and he's not really a damage dealer, so HP defense is fine pretty much across the board for all of the Gothers. Deanne is another character that is very, very supporty or tanky, not necessarily used for damage, so HP defense is fine for her as well. Honestly, you can use it for any of them. The sins themselves, I always like to have an attack crit damage set and an HP defense set for all of the sins, just so that way I can swap them back and forth depending on what I need them for. I did get a comment the other day asking why I had 5 UR gear sets for Meliodas, and it's mainly just because if I'm using one gear set for Melee and I want to use a link for the other Melees or whatever the case may be, I have a specialty set built for, I think it's this blue one right here. It has Pierce rate rolls on it. It's just, I've been playing the game since day one. I've had a lot of time to sort of make extra gear for characters and stuff like that. And there's a lot of Melees. Most of the really like high tier, like maxed out accounts and stuff, they have a UR gear set for like every single character in the box. So it's not too outlandish to have 5. I know that it's probably overkill in some regard, but, you know, it is what it is. I would ideally like to have an HP defense set and an attack crit set for every single character in the box, but it just takes a lot of time, and I'm sort of working my way through that. But, yeah, as far as HP defense sets goes, try to use it for somebody that you know you're going to use a lot. That is basically my biggest takeaway from this thing. Elizabeth is another character that is mostly support-based. You don't really need an attack set for her most of the time. You can run an attack set on the newest Light Liz if you really want to, but like I said, most of the time PvP itself is pretty CC based. You won't necessarily have to have CC for like some of the PvP or PvE content, but you know, some of the later story missions, for example, have pretty high CC. I know the new Cath fight has like 350k, which is pretty up there. Like, that is really, really high, so could potentially help out with that. Not that I would recommend you build the HP defense set just for that fight or anything, but you know, there's a lot of characters that are pretty supporty that you could potentially use. Droll, for example, even though Droll isn't necessarily great and he doesn't have an LR yet, he is a really good link, because most of the time if he can be used for a link, it's for HP, for like loot OCLs, and I think some other characters as well. And, you know, just having good substats on him and everything is really, really nice for the extra bit of CC for the link unit. Obviously, I would probably build it for characters that you're planning on using on the field first, because that's where you get the most gain out of it. Another one, for example, is the Archangels. Archangels are phenomenal characters if you can, you know, max them out and get more stats and stuff like that with them using their grace on an associated unit. Like, you know, you want to give their grace to someone on the field. Having an HP defense set for these characters is like not necessarily a must-have, but definitely very, very helpful. So if you want to build an HP defense set, I have an HP defense set for Margaret. I have an attack and a defense, or an attack and an HP set for Tarmiel. Actually, I think I have a triple defense set for the blue one because he doesn't use attack, but I know for Sariel I have an HP and then I have an attack one as well. So having an HP defense set for all of those, because they're not necessarily great on the field nowadays, you're basically just using them for their grace, can be very, very helpful. Just any units that you think you'll get a lot of use case out of. Red Tarmiel, for example, phenomenal link because of that grace, so having a maxed out HP defense set for him would not be a bad idea whatsoever. Just depends on really who you have, who you're using. More recently, I've built an HP defense set for tier. I do have my tier maxed out at this point, and because of that, I do get 60% crit defense as a link on him now. So if I'm using the Unknown team, for example, or even just Ragnarok characters, I can throw him on as a link. I can put the HP defense set on him. I've swapped some of my gear around for the moment, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like, I mean, just getting that extra bit of CC can make the difference, and just getting those stats and stuff like that is very nice. So just depends on, like I said, who you're using. Make sure that you don't, I wouldn't recommend giving it to just somebody random, but then again, you know, if you end up engraving it for any character, it's still going to give you like a pretty good little boost in CC. So if you guys have any sort of suggestions on who you're planning on giving it to, or, you know, if somebody that I didn't mention here would be a good pick, feel free to comment down below. I'm sure it'll try to help somebody sort of make up their mind on who they want to give it to. But yeah, Meliodas is obviously a great one because he's the main character. They make new Mellies all the time. Percival is probably going to get the same treatment in the future. And like I said, like I have mine on Shin. I need to build Shin an HP defense set at some point in the future. I doubt I'm going to give him that 15% set. I'll probably build a separate set for him because I don't want to waste the really good substats on a Shin, because I'm not using Shin a lot. But, you know, could potentially be an option, I guess, if I really just wanted to be lazy with it. But either way, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. Hopefully this was helpful. And yeah, I will see you guys later.